Craig's Lee with Trailside Fitness. So in a recent video, I went through and showed you all the gear that I'm going to use on the Pacific Northwest Trail. In this video, I'm going to show you how I load my pack. Stay tuned. So loading my pack up, the first thing I do is I take a heavy yard and leaf bag or trash compactor bag, shove it inside of my pack, and that gives me that layer of waterproof protecting that I'm looking for. And then from that, I'll just pack in the stuff I want to make sure and keep dry. So I'll show you what that looks like. As far as what I've got packed up here, sleeping bag is going to go at the bottom. Typically, I'll put in my puffy jacket because I know I'm not going to need that throughout the day, most likely. And then I'll usually put my sleeping pad in there. And then probably my electronics bag. I like the redundancy, even though it's in a waterproof bag. It's sometimes nice to know that it's just nice and secure in the bottom of my pack. So once I get these items in my pack, I'll take the front of the top of the bag and fold it up in front and underneath to kind of seal over everything and make sure that water can't get in there. This does a couple things. One, obviously keeps the water out. And then two, I think it gives me a little extra protection on the front side. So it's a few more pieces of plastic that something would have to poke through if I lean up against something, branch or something like that, or if I kind of bash into something. I've got a little more abrasion resistance against that, anything in there getting wet or torn or anything like that. So as you can see here, this gives me a nice flat surface to lay all my gear in. I've got the sleeping bag and everything tucked down the bottom. Still plenty of volume in the pack itself. I'm gonna take my clothes bag, that's gonna go up front, and then the tent goes closer to my body. And I do this for a couple reasons. Again, if I bash into anything, I want that tent as deep in as possible so I don't get any sticks jamming in there. I don't really care if I get a hole in my clothes, that can handle it. So I like to protect that stuff as best I can. So next, I'm gonna shove in the other stuff. So cooking set, I can kind of jam in wherever it fits. My second cup, gotta have that. And then food bag. So this gives me plenty of volume here. This gives me plenty of volume to fit in that food bag. I usually just put that right in there on top, however it fits. And then from here, I can just do the roll top, cinch everything down, connect the sides, and then I'm good to go. So now that the pack is pretty well done, I'm just going to load up the front pocket. And there's an order I do this. So first aid kit goes in. I never want to dig for that if I need it for anything. Rain jacket, that goes in. Nice for rest breaks or for a little storm pops up. And then last but not least, the bathroom kit. Sometimes bathroom emergencies on the trail come up pretty quickly without much warning. You don't want to have to dig for that. It's nice to have that always super handy. Now, as far as the rest of this goes, on the bottom of the pack, I set up my little Gossamer Gear sit pad. It's really nice. I like it on the bottom of my pack because if I set my pack down on something, one, this will take the abrasion of that, not the pack material itself. This pack is quite durable and I'm sure it can handle quite a bit. But if I can reduce some of that wear and put it on something that's easily replaced versus a pack, much more expensive, I'm going to do that. It also keeps it out of my way when I'm hiking versus having it up top. So I'll just cinch that down on the bottom. And then it's just water bottle pockets to fill up the side, and then we're good to go. So there is one small change I'll make with the bear can, so let me show you what that looks like. So this pack has a couple of options to store a bear can. This is the BV500. It doesn't fit horizontally in the pack, but it will fit vertically in the pack. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a minute. If you've got enough gear and other stuff in your pack that the volume of the pack comes up high enough, this can work pretty good. It just sits right on top. There's a strap system that you buy, super nice. It's pretty secure on there. Probably a really good option. It's not my favorite though. I don't like having all that stuff right behind my head and I kind of bump into it sometimes. So I'm going to show you how I use a bear can inside of the pack. So we're back to just having the sleeping stuff loaded in the bottom. And now what I'm going to do is take my bear can, drop that in there, and that's going to sit right on top of that stuff. And then from there, I've got a little bit of room on the sides. I can tuck in the extra gear and stuff that I have. So my little camp essentials, cooking set. We'll put the other cup in there. Looks like that's all the goodies there. So everything's kind of loaded in there. And I still have a nice little shelf on top. So same as we did before, clothes up front, tent in the back. And now you can press and push, squish some of the air out of here. You can roll that top of the bag over, seal it back up. Cinch down your sides. All the goodies that you need to do. And then it keeps everything kind of nice and clean, compartmentalized, and in the pack where it belongs. For me, I don't like to have a lot of things dangling and hanging off my pack, so this allows me to keep everything in there nice and secure. And then the volume of the pack seems to work well with the bear can in there that way as well. So the reason I pack it that way is because if I put the clothes on the bottom and try and do the bear can on top, I don't feel like it fits nearly as well. So again, we got the nice flat surface in there. We'll take the tent, slip it in, clothes, we'll put those up in the front just like we had it before. So again, you got that nice little shelf in there. Got the cook set. Stick that in there. Now flatten things back out so we're nice and flat still. This little pocket's in the way. And then it gives us space for the bear can. However, once you put this bear can in, it comes right up to the top of the bag. And if you try and smush things down, you don't really get a lot of opportunity to fold and roll top the bag over. And then you've got this rounded edge here, and I feel like this gives you a higher chance for abrasion issues versus having the can deeper in the pack and the soft stuff up on top. That's why I prefer the can first and then the other items over top. Well, that was fun. So that's how I pack my backpack. Now understand it may be a little bit different for you. Obviously, you might have a different size bear can that maybe you can fit in horizontally versus vertically. Not everywhere you hike is going to need a bear can also, so understanding what you can use and feel comfortable with in that aspect is important as well. This is just the gear that I use, and I know how to pack it in the pack that works well for me. And again, this is from thousands of miles of hiking. This is from years of experience using these different things. I know some areas you have to have a bear can, so knowing how to pack that up, because I've spent time doing it with the training hikes and that sort of thing, I know what works for me. Versus having something like a food bag with a few different items in there that you can kind of shift and adjust. These different things do pack and load differently, so understand how your gear works, know how to load these things up, do those shakedown hikes, do those practice hikes like you play. So load everything up. This is exactly the setup I'd use for a training hike. I'd have some weight and stuff shoved in the food bag to maybe bump up the weight if I needed. And then I can see how things feel. I can feel how the pack fits and make any adjustments if I need to. Much easier to get these kinks worked out now than getting out on a hike and being a little confused or unsure about how to pack or make things more comfortable if you're having an issue. All these problems can be sorted out before you go, and that's going to make your trip much more comfortable. With that, happy trails.